Okay, so we'd had a van for about 6 years when we decided that we wanted to sell up and we wanted to buy a bigger van and go full time and be on the road. So Ian, who is brilliant at research and the layout of vans, went, right, this is the van that we want. We want a Bailey autograph, and this is the age because of the cab, and it's got to do this, and I just leave that bit to Ian. And then we had a shortlist. We looked online, and we created a shortlist of all the companies in the country that had this particular van. And Raymond James had 2, and they were really close to where we used to live in the Midlands. And so we went, well, that's worth going to have a look at. They've got 2 with slightly different age, weren't they?
Yeah, one was a year younger than the other, but the older one had a younger mileage. And so we sort of had a look at both, didn't we? And one appeared to be slightly better condition than the other one, so we sort of preferred...
In fact, it was the older one.
It was the older one,
so
we sort of favoured that, had a good look at it.
So that's really how we...
It fitted all our needs, didn't it? The layout was fine, the space was fine.
That's how we discovered Raymond James, was basically they weren't very far from the Midlands and they had 2 of the vans that we were looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've gone for a Bailey 740 Approach Autograph.
Right.
It's 10 years old, it's a 2015 van, 7.4 metres long, hence the 740, I think. And she just fitted the bill. Our first van was a 6 metre van, but it did have lots of space. I mean, we're used to that sort of straight through space, if you like. And the 740 was very similar, sort of similar layout with a fixed bed at the back, so you weren't making the bed every night, which was a bonus.
That was key.
Considering the plan was to live in the van, the fixed bed was a must, and it was just fantastic. It was such a a nice, light, bright, airy van.
I think the storage space as well in the van that we've got is massive, and if you're going to live in a van, then you do need to think about where are you going to keep all of your stuff.
Yeah. So. Plus the Bailey name, obviously, it's sort of renowned for sort of very high quality build and that sort of thing. Having spent years making caravans, we just sort of settled on that one and went back a month later and paid a deposit. Was it something like that?
Yes, that's how. Yes, so we hadn't seen anything better than the one that was at Raymond James.
Yeah.
Certainly
similar vans that had a similar layout. There was a Swift model that was a similar length, very similar layout. It was a fraction shorter, but it didn't have the Aldi central heating, whereas the Bailey did.
Yeah.
And that was always a plus
yes,
for us, wasn't it?
That's really good. That wet central heating.
Oh, it's superb. Yeah, really good.
Yeah. I think for us, they were willing to wait for us to sell the house. There was no pressure. We obviously we were itching to get started, but there was no sort of, oh, well, if you don't do it by such a date, it's going to go. We'd pay the deposit and they were willing to wait and hold the van for us. The other thing was, obviously, we needed to, we did part exchange, but obviously everything, by the time we got the van, we were in our smaller van, so everything was in the smaller van, and we needed to transfer from the smaller van in because the house had gone. So they were just brilliant at saying, yeah, that's fine. So we parked up next to the new van and trundled everything from one van into the other, and they didn't mind how. We were there all day, weren't we? Yeah. She was absolutely immaculate when we moved in. And
even had her tyres blacked.
And Ian does like cleaning.
I'm a little bit of a car detail freak, so to see a nice spotlessly clean van was fantastic.
We have got a little video of Ian standing there looking at one of the roof lights going, but she's so clean.
There's nothing for me to clean.
There's nothing to do.
I've got my microfibres to hand and there's nothing to clean. It's just
she was absolutely spotless. Yeah.
We didn't really know anything about Raymond James prior to visiting, but when you see the van advertised, you do sort of go on Google and have a look at some of the reviews, and they're all really, really good.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it's been proven, hasn't it? So
Oh yeah, yeah.
after sales, well, the sales service, after sales service,
Yeah.
second to none.
Ooh, I think for me, it's about the feel of the van, but also the layout and being clear about what you want, what need are you meeting. I think that's been a conversation we've had today. Who's going to be in the van, who's going to use the van, and what do you want it to do? The first van we had, we really liked the fact that you could sit opposite each other, and that suits how we use our van.
Mm-hmm.
Other people would want to have perhaps more of a circular feel, so you've got to go and sit, and I think that's why the show is good, because you can see so many different layouts, and you can sit in and you can try it.
Yeah.
You'll see different cabs, you'll see drop down beds, and you've really got to have a go and see
There's so
what
many
suits
different
you.
options and formats available to anybody thinking of buying their first motorhome. And as Celia said, it's a case of knowing what you're going to want from the van.
Yeah.
Are you going to be sort of using it for the weekends, or are you going to live in it? Yeah. So if you're living in it, you want storage, you want space, you want sort of ideal lounge living environment.
I think as well, we were able to go to smaller sites maybe when we had a smaller van. There are places that we look at and we go, we can't do that in our larger van, because we have got to consider the length.
Yeah.
So it's, if you want the experience of going down little country lanes and just parking up somewhere, and you go, well, you've got to think about what size van you've got.
Yeah.
The same with, I guess, with caravans. I mean, we've never been particularly drawn to caravans.
I've never fancied towing a caravan. I never have towed a caravan, but I've never really sort of fancied the idea of it, really.
Although I did go in one a little while ago and went, there's so much space, and there's this enormous shower room. I thought, oh yeah, because they haven't got that bit. They haven't got the engine.
But where's the cab?
Yes.
Oh.
I
I think another thing as well is you need to sort of make up your mind as to whether or not you're going to be 90% of the time on campsites, or most of the time off grid.
Yeah.
In which case, if you're on a campsite, you'll be hooked up, so you have no power issues. If you're off grid, you're going to require solar panels, 2 batteries, inverters, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of options or choices that need to be sort of decided on, isn't there?
I think as well that, the van we've got has already got the solar panel. So I remember coming to a show.
I think that was a standard fit, wasn't
yes,
it? Yeah.
I looked at an old list of what questions we need to ask when we come to the show, and it was all about how do we fit solar panels, and we went, oh, that's all included, and that's all sorted.
Yeah.
We even have the app on the phone now, so he can track all the
can
power.
Monitor the solar panel, see what the charger's doing. It's great. So, so many things to consider.
Yeah.
You've moved from detailing into apps and.
Oh yes, no, he's still details. Yes.
I do. I'm probably slightly obsessed with detailing.
Yeah. But it's interesting because we have a mantra. What are we learning? Because whatever, you are learning all the time when you are travelling, when you're living in a van. There are lots of, let's call them challenges, because there are some days when you go, oh, this, but it's always what are we learning? I want to talk about decision paralysis.
I was just going to mention that, yeah.
Decision paralysis is something that if you are travelling, and maybe you're somebody who knows that I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to stop there, and then I'm going to stop here, and you have it all mapped out. But most people that want camper van and motorhome style of travel want to have a little bit more freedom. So then you have to make decisions, and you have to decide, have I got enough water? Where am I going to hook up? Do I need to empty all my fluids?
Where are you going to sleep tonight?
Where are you going to sleep tonight? That is our song.
One of our songs. Yeah.
One of our songs. And so and it's just being aware that there are a lot of decisions you have to make. But at the same time, you have that freedom of just going, well, this is what we're going, and being able to change plans. We did the Wild Atlantic Way, and we thought, we would have plenty of time to do Ireland in 6 weeks. but we sort of got stuck on the Ring of Kerry because it was so beautiful. But then that's part of the fun. That is, you go, oh, should we have another night here? Yeah, this is really nice. We'll just stay another night.
I mean, certainly living in the van, it is a case of having to be flexible, basically, and being adaptable. There are two key words for this year, aren't they?
They are adaptability and flexibility.
So it is. Yeah, you do need to be flexible. Yeah.
Trips, countries.
Doing this for as long as we can. It's great. It's a much simpler lifestyle than living in bricks and mortar. People say, what do you miss about living in a house? Nothing.
No.
They really don't. It's such a good lifestyle. We're loving it.
I think immediate. I mean, it's interesting. You go, well, I know what we're doing for the next week, which is great.
We find you sort of can't plan too far ahead, don't we?
Not
really?
not in detail.
A couple of I mean, even Ireland. You know, we planned a 6-week trip around the coast of Ireland, which was amazing. But we planned probably the first couple of weeks, if that. And then you make it up as you go along. Yeah. So again, being flexible, you're going to have to be.
But the big trips are, we're going to do a big tour of Scotland.
Scotland's coming up, so the North East 250 and the North Coast 500, sort of all in one trip.
Yeah, so we're sort of going around the edge. We like living life at the edge.
And
so we're going to do the edge of Scotland,
so,
and I want to get over to Lewis.
And then in June, we're hoping to go to the Netherlands. To see some friends over in Holland, so that should be good. Yeah. So probably taking a little bit of Germany and certainly Belgium as well. So, yeah.
And other than that, people keep saying, "Well, what are you going to do for next Christmas?" I'm going, I don't know. No idea. But probably Spain again.
But as long as we can keep up this lifestyle,
that's really good.
That's the plan. So.
Yeah, there's so many places that you want to see. You know, I've got relatives in Italy, and you go, well, when are we going to fit that in because of the delightful 90-day rule? Let's not get on a soapbox about that, but you do, that's one consideration. And then there's all of the Baltic states, which are beautiful. And you go, well, there's that, and so people say, how long do you want to do this for? And you go, well, I could look at our plans and we go, well, that's 3 years. And we'd like to go back to Ireland again. Ireland is beautiful. If you're thinking about going to Ireland, just do it.
Ireland stole our hearts.
It did.
Absolutely, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So good, wasn't it?
Yeah. But stop number 1 is the Raymond James Service Centre.
First thing in the morning.
So we sort of tied it in with the show, really. They're doing some warranty work for us. So, I mean, maybe that's the time to mention the after sales, because they are just amazing. So we're having a little bit of work done tomorrow.
They're so good. You can have work scheduled in at the service centre, and then while you're on your travels, something can sound like it's probably on its way out, on its last legs, and you just contact the Raymond James Service Centre, Tracy, and she says, yeah, we'll add it to the job list.
They've been brilliant.
Nothing's too much trouble for them, is it?
No, and I think that's important
so
because,
amenable.
Especially when it's your home, you don't want to have that as a worry, but to know that you can just ring up and go, can we talk about this? And they go, oh yeah, no worries, we'll just, we'll look at that when you bring her in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And even as part of the warranty, we were out in Spain when the toilet flush pump started to wear out, and I got in touch with the service centre and I said, if we buy a pump and have it delivered here and I fit it, can you reimburse us for the pump? No problem. Just send us a copy of the receipt, and it was done and dusted. There we go. That was so good.
And the new service centre is just like state of the art. I mean, we were just blown away, weren't we, last time we went?
And then to come here, at each show, October and February, and to meet certainly Tony and Jackie, who sort of, dealt with the sale of Connie, our van. It's fantastic. They're so welcoming, and coffee and biscuits every time. It's superb.
Perhaps we shouldn't mention that. But it is. And actually, I think it feels like family. I think that for me is important. That there is that relationship. It's not just you buy a caravan and then that's it. Yeah. They really care. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Hence the reason we tag them in every Facebook post we do.
Well, we are the 2 freebies. So our surname is Barsby, and so we came up with bees. And it's about being you know, we're being in this lifetime, not just doing. So yes, it is the
Absolutely.
2 freebies
And
on Facebook
On
at the
Facebook.
moment. Okay, Instagram when we remember, and we're working on YouTube.
brilliant. Thank
Okay.
you so much. That's great.
okay.
Thank
Pleasure.
you
very
Thank
much.
you.
We're
Thank
great.
you.
Cheers.
Cut.